Going live.
And
Give it just a minute. Yeah, I have it on medium latency, so
there we go. There we go. Oh man, I love that picture you've got of me. It's beautiful.
What do you mean? What's wrong? Oh, that's the one you sent.
Yeah, no,
well, I didn't have enough time to make a new one.
We took it weeks ago. It's hilarious.
Hey, I mean, if it worked, it worked. If I'm lazy, whatever. Okay, so what's up, y'all? We're doing this again. Today we're actually going to talk about Modern Warfare 2 now that all the stuffs is out and we can either love it or hate it. So do you want to start her off with how are you feeling right now about Modern Warfare 22?
Yeah, I'll extend the intro a little bit and welcome all of you that are watching right now. We're going to try to keep a little bit of an eye on the chat today, whereas last time we were a little bit more into each other. God, that sounded wrong. Let's move on. Today we're going to be talking about Modern Warfare 2. I think that was supposed to be one of the first episodes, but I had an NDA, so we decided to bump it and do the boys. And this is going to be a little more balanced because I think my knowledge level in hubs for the boys wasn't quite the same. But I think it may be the opposite here, definitely in terms of time played at least. So without any further ado, I'm going to say that I am tentatively optimistic for MW2, only for Warzone. Fair enough. I want to talk about something that I think is going to be easy for us to praise before we shit on everything, and that's graphics. I want to hear your opinion about the game's graphics.
So I reacted to the entire campaign trailer because I think that's had the most graphics we had. Everything that was not a person looked absolutely amazing, but the actual people quality was uncanny valley, and not on the good side, on like the very bad side. It felt like if the graphics were 4K, they were like 720. It was all weird. Their faces just looked off. That's what took me out of it. Like everything else looked great. All the animations, all the back end level work, pretty much. Even like the moving of the boats and stuff. It was just the people sucked.
So that's something that I actually didn't notice, is I didn't notice the people look sucky. Though, to be fair, I wasn't looking at that. I was studying very intently all the animations and lighting and the water and blah, blah, blah. But I did see some pictures, and it was especially bad for Soap. They added Soap. Soap looks like he's from like 2014, maybe, kind of low poly. And I wonder if that's like a limitation because it's an alpha, because they showed me some footage that you guys didn't see. And there was one of them where Captain Price is like, he's like, oh, we gotta go, but his face is like frozen because it's like pre-alpha. I don't know how much is like finished and what isn't. There is a possibility. You remember they did the hyper-realistic face scan thing with all the detail, that they went less detail on faces and more in the environment.
Yeah, because you don't think they could do the dual rendering properly enough to get them both top end?
Oh, God, that probably not. I mean, they got rid of dual rendering scopes in almost every video game. You remember that?
Yeah, Ghost is where it started. Remember? All like the snipers were like 50-50. They either loved it or it just drove them up the wall. So I actually enjoyed the dual rendering personally because I like the long distance sniping, and I felt like that was nicer for that rather than just big old circle in a black spot. But
yeah, it nuked people's graphics cards though, because it would literally double the load. It was a nightmare.
Yeah, I could definitely see that happening. But graphically, it did look good. Now, I'm still worried about them trying to go the realistic route, because every time we hit the word realism, it's not a fun game. Like, remember, Modern Warfare 19's multiplayer was actually going downhill fast. If it weren't for Warzone, that game would have had an entire different ending. And I don't know. I'm hoping the graphics carry over. But what about the audio? I'm going to bring up the audio because in the campaign trailer, it was very bassy and...
Yes, some of that is, so I didn't go to their little studio, but when you go there, you sit down in this room with speakers like 12 feet tall, and every time they shoot, like your chair will like vibrate. It's so loud. I hate it. But I was watching the trailer and I noticed the audio is very bassy, like you said, like Modern Warfare 19. Like when you shoot a gun, it's deafening, and I think it's no surprise to the chat that you shoot guns. You know what a rifle sounds like.
Yeah.
My question to you is, do you want to hear a real rifle sound or an imitation rifle sound when you're playing a game, listening to teammates and footsteps and stuff?
So the way I want it to be is, in the campaign where it's completely supposed to be a locked-in story, I actually like the idea of the guns being damn near 100% realistic with reverb and everything in the situations. But when we're going into multiplayer where it's highly repetitive and we're playing for hundreds of hours on end, I want them to be toned way back. Like, rid of most of the bass, no muzzle flash, just basic audio to be able to tell if someone's shooting on the map what they might be using.
I
That,
can
that's
totally
wrong.
agree. Would you say that Treyarch and Black Ops does that? They've been criticized for having very fake looking plastic sounding guns, but their audio balance is often better than the deafening Infinity Ward audio balance.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to go that way. I mean, maybe they should just have a slider in the multiplayer that's just like realistic versus just, hey, I'm playing a lot and I don't want to hear it over and over.
Oh, that'd be great. It'd also probably make a big difference. Like if you were playing with like a big sound system, having it loud like that would be different than just headsets like beaming it into your ears.
Well,
Because everybody playing is gonna crank up the volume to hear footsteps.
and I was listening with the AO3, so my ears are plugged, so it's even worse because like that audio has nowhere to really fully escape. You're plugged, so
I need to use my AO3s more, man. Those are so good, and I just don't use them. I think it's because the plug-in to my well, you know where the Go XLR is. It's like so far away that I can't easily like do this. They would just pop right out.
Yeah, well, I mean, I have a 3 to 6 foot extender that doesn't have any issues, so like I can literally, get up and just go all the way.
Nice.
Yeah. Anyway,
Moving along. So graphics are good. I like what they've done with lighting. I like what they've done with the fog and the smoke. I don't know who all's videos you watch. They apparently put a lot of effort into the water. They showed us demos of like of wave physics, not fish AI.
yeah, dude, the
they
fish
wanted
some way.
No, they showed us stuff like if you're swimming, the waves will push you back, or if you try to swim up a river, good luck, And it's stuff like they put all these boats in Warzone, I assume, and I saw these like really sort of test mappy Warzone kind of things where dudes were riding around in boats and they would like go by and the wave would just like push you further back out in the ocean. So I'm hoping for a future where we can drive circles around somebody and push them out of the zone.
So I kind of fall on a different mentality like that. If we're doing Warzone and multiplayer, I don't actually want the waves to do all that. But if they're doing the DMZ Tarkov ripoff thing, whatever, and that's supposed to be uber realistic, that's where it should be. But if Warzone, I kind of don't want that. Multiplayer, I kind of don't want that. I don't know.
Dude, imagine the Tarkov mode at night.
Oh god, they're probably gonna do that with night vision. Imagine if they go the Fortnite route and it's just the daytime is constantly changing, so you have to use night vision at night.
Dude, I like the night vision stuff sparingly. It's really fun every now and again. It just shouldn't be on very often.
And that's what my concern is with them talking about realism and hearing about all these aspects of the game is that, yeah, you might be doing something cool and unique, but it might be only cool for like 10 minutes, not hundreds of hours.
Same with the rappelling, and we'll get to some of the complaints later. Let's move on to the next relatively positive topic, and that's going to be kind of the end of those. Map scaling. How do you feel about them scaling the size of the map? The Warzone map is probably, if it's not going to be bigger, it's going to be at least more detailed. And they showed us a variety of ground war maps that were pretty massive and some sort of tech demo-y things indicating that they can considerably scale up the size of a map. And they said they could have, you know what, we'll go ahead and roll in the AI in this one too, because that's negative. You can have up to 300 AI and 100 players operating on a Warzone-sized map all simultaneously on one server.
Didn't we complain in Titanfall 2 about being tired of AI on the games? Like, it feels like in so many shooters, nobody wants the AI. What was that? Were we in Battlefield when we were encountering AI as well? When we were playing?
It was Titanfall 1.
No.
I think was the
well,
first.
It was Titanfall 1 and 2. But no, I'm saying recently, Battlefield 2042, we were playing that squad mode, and there were bots, I thought, in it.
Yeah. Because they only had 32 players, but they had a couple of random bot squads that would come harass you for no particular reason.
And that would immediately turn us off from anything going on. Because it's like, oh, hey, cool, we wiped a bot squad. We thought it was something else.
Yeah. So they've done stuff with bots. This might actually be very negative. They showed off a tech demo where they trained the AI to move more like real people. So it's not going to fool you if you look close, but like at a distance, it's going to be even harder to tell what is and isn't AI and how they clear and move the maps a little different. I kind of say I'm not the biggest fan of this because I think that there's good ways to do AI. I think Fortnite does it fine. There's some AI and some challenges. Honestly, it gets a little annoying there sometimes. And I'm kind of okay with the idea of there being strongholds, like imagine the bunkers. You open the door, you got to clear out some PvE.
Like the armory in Apex.
Yeah, or Nakatomi Plaza. You remember that? You kill all the terrorists, you get the loot, you get the specialist, you're on your way.
I mean, yeah, I can see that. It was, to be fair, Blackout had it with zombies, but it was specifically locked. It was kind of balanced.
Area.
It was just enough that would sound off people were in the area, but didn't last long enough that you're there for 5 minutes. Like,
Yes.
But I could more or less see the AI being okay in like my toddler's first BR, where people who are not used to BRs go in and play versus bots, so they can like learn the map rotation, learn how to loot, and do all the basic stuff. But I'm not for that existing in,
Oof, boy.
standard
Then
BR.
I'll tell you a terrifying quote. Then it's gonna break your heart.
Okay.
Lead developer was talking about how there's all these different play styles and different skill levels and blah blah blah. And one of the big goals with the AI is to make sure that you can play in all different play styles. And even if you're a really unskilled person on the team, you can still contribute. And we're going to use the AI. And it was kind of vague. And I kind of get the impression that if you're too bad to play regular, that there's going to be a Weenie Hut Junior version of some of these maps where you can just go farm AI to shift the points a little bit.
Yeah, just to be clear, developer who wants this, I don't know who you are, but be prepared for a lot of your game is dead, ha ha ha, it's only bots on the map. Just keep that in mind. It will happen. So, especially if they're supposed to be like realistic to players, yeah, you're going to run into a lot of those comments.
We got a good comment here about realism. Hello, Kim Jawan, Benny Halberter, and Anonymous, but Alpha Phoebe is who I want to read here. It says the soldiers are wearing hearing protection, right? That is justification to reduce the sound a little bit. Imagine the perk. It's like earbuds. You can put them in. So I talked to some friends of mine that have done service in the military, right?
Yeah.
They do give you like a pack of earbuds that you can put in if you're going to be shooting, but literally 100% of them have told me that when you're in combat and you're taking fire and people are screaming orders, that one, there's no time for it, and two, nobody wants it because they still have to be able to hear the people around them.
And three, 3M's being sued because they failed. But no,
yeah, that too.
So I immediately thought supply drops coming back, hearing protection. Now supply drops. Get your pink earmuffs, and that's the only way you can reduce the audio in game. Field upgrades. Oh man, I mean, did you notice that watches are most likely coming back because they were on the wrist and all?
Yeah.
Like it looked like they were super extra detailed for that specific reason.
Oh, they made money selling all those things. So.
But yet they haven't done the smartest one yet, where you're allowed to lock it to an end game challenge. So if you're doing camo hunting for headshots, lock it to the challenge, and you can see how many headshots you need to finish it out. Don't know why they haven't done that, and make bank.
They do everything else, realistic time of day, time travel, all sorts of goofy stuff. So we'll pull back and talk about the AI a little bit more.
Yeah.
I think I'm in agreement with you that the good uses for AI are too few, and there are too many Weenie Hut Junior uses that ultimately make a game boring. And I think Call of Duty, more than most games, is stuck in this rut of the player base. The overwhelming majority is pretty casual. They do have decades of experience, but they're not trying to be apex predators. They're not out there grinding high-level Valorant. They're just trying to get kills. So they're trying to find ways for the game to still be fun when you're losing. And I don't think that giving people freebies and easy wins against the AI is the way to do that. Games that are fun when you're losing are called games that are just fun, period. And when you're losing, that just happens to be what it is.
Yeah, because we all took our licks when we first joined. Can I push you an idea of an AI situation I would love to see in the new Warzone?
Okay, all ears.
Imagine coming into a section, you see Price, Soak, Ghost fighting, say, an extinction horde. You hop in real quick, you help clear the horde, then you get better loot and bounce. It's like a 2-minute thing, in, out. It's kind of like...
No, that's perfectly reasonable. That's like a mod of zombies. But what if you can... Imagine you do that and your special item is like a little grenade that you can throw down to splash, and you get 3 little hordelings that'll follow you around like dogs.
Yeah, it's fun stuff like that. Or what was that gun in Ghost on the Dome remake where you could like shoot the gas-looking canisters?
Oh, the Venom X something, because it was like a zombies weapon. You had to make the crane drop, and then you could get it, and it would shoot this green goo and insta-kill people. So there's fun things like that. You have the Kong and Monkey, but I don't think those are probably bad uses of AI. Imagine, so they try to do all these things. Imagine Predator, but instead of a person, it's something advanced, or Terminator. But they also did this with Krampus in Warzone, and everybody hated Krampus because he would just show up and aggro the shit out of you and freeze your screen. But imagine a Terminator, a relatively slow-moving, near unkillable target, just coming.
But I mean, in a way, Blackout already did that situation too with like the asylum and then the graveyard. So imagine if
bosses, right?
yeah, but it only stayed in that area. So if you left, you were fine. They didn't attack you. So imagine if they did their Halloween event again and they brought back, Jason Voorhees, Predator and stuff, but they only could stay inside the buildings. And if you beat them, you get the loot. But if you leave, they don't follow you. Best of both worlds, right?
Yeah, no, that's great. I'd love to fight against Jason and Freddy and all that. A similar idea. We'll piggyback off of that. So the zombie mode they've done both of these in Warzone. They've done actual zombies in Warzone,
Which was great.
And then they've done the player zombies in Warzone, which was also great, in my opinion.
Some of the best events.
Imagine if you made a version of Warzone, it would be tremendously wasteful to servers where, let's say you get a squad of 4 is the common number, let's say up to 8 to 12. And it just loads in like 300 AI zombies and hits them with that, what was that, World War Z swarming, and they're just coming. And you just have to hold out harder and harder against this massive horde. Like you're in Starship Troopers and you got the machine gun. Da, 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 da.
So the funny thing is, we're over here pitching ideas that would be amazing now that they've said they could do 100 players and 300 AI at the same time. But in reality, they're just going to be adding bots to make people feel better about themselves. And we're like, you could do all of this. That would be amazing. And we're going to get bare minimum.
But the people that would feel good about themselves from killing bots would have way more fun hosing down like 300 zombies.
Oh, hell yeah. Especially if they took all the characters from the campaign and zombified them.
Oh god, yeah.
That would be hilarious.
Or you could have zombie bosses.
Or zombie content creators like your ass looked in Black Ops 2 and the transit stuff.
I hope we get content creators. Was the Tim the Tatman trailer real? Activision produced that?
Yeah, and there was an NBA player and a couple other people, I believe.
And my assumption is going to be that since they've scanned their faces, that there's going to be creator skins. I am way too down in the you got to have like 5,000 live viewers zone before you get a skin, so I ain't getting one, but it'd be nice.
Well, Activision's lagging behind because COD Mobile was already putting their content creators in the game a long time ago.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, at least I believe.
Skins?
Yeah, as playable skins.
Damn,
from my understanding.
That's really good.
So where do you want to go from here with because we talked about the bots, we've talked about the AI, what they should do with it, but they're not gonna.
We have one in the chat. Coderid Tonio, a little bit of a tongue twister there. You guys think the MW engine will have an FOV slider for PlayStation 5? I don't. It's embarrassing that they don't, but I don't think they're going to have it because this is a development attitude. It's like, all right, Sony demands the best graphics that you can crank out for their showcase. And the way you do that is tremendously restrict options. And when you have a wider field of view, it has to render more. It'll cause frame drops. So they're going to lock that field of view to make Sony happy.
Yeah, that's probably what we're going to do. They would rather have high FPS, beautiful looking stuff versus stressing the system with all the other variables. I mean, if they gave us the option of like set it 90 FPS, because we can do 120 on it PS5. I've been doing it since Cold War. But if they'd be like, all right, you can have FOV slider, but you can only do 90 FPS, I'd be like, okay.
That's fine. Yeah. If they're going to be advanced as computers, they should be able to have computer-like settings. So I want your opinions a little bit more on what you're hearing about Warzone 2. We've talked about it a fair bit in regards to AI, but what about like in general with Warzone 2?
I really hope they don't go overboard. You're gonna have to bring up specific things to get my opinion on it, but I'm hearing all these aspects come about what might be possible, and I'm worried that they're just doing too much.
Okay. Boats and water.
That's fine. Blackout did it.
Okay, good. What about there's clear water and also muddy water?
Okay.
And there's rivers, and there's ponds with lily pads, and there's oceans with waves, and different vehicles for all of them, including a few amphibious ones.
Sounds like consoles might be on the struggle bus then for all them assets. Like if you're having different types of waters and everything with render distance, consoles may be struggling. I mean, I'd prefer just a static same water system, to be honest, because I don't want my gunfights being too variable, right? Because I'm worried they're going to be coming back with like the arms do less damage and stuff like that. Now add in water, just murky water, bullet velocity go down because it has dirt particles in it. It's clear water.
Well, the depth of the water does change your bullet velocity. I don't know about mud or not,
but like it does shooting through a lily pad decrease your bullet velocity. Like.
Dude, in some games it would. They'd have these objects that you would like leaves would block bullets and stuff.
Oh yeah, Modern Warfare 2 on IW4X, yeah, all the time. Grenades getting stuck on leaves. It's anything. But I want them to do the bare minimum right before we go overboard. You know what I mean?
Okay. Well, we'll do a lightning round.
Okay.
Redeploy tokens.
Seems fine, but change the redeploy distance to be very close to over top of the player.
Okay. What about gulag tokens?
Seems fine. Just keep both of those super rare. I want the redeploy tokens to be the rarest, though. Maybe specialist when it first came out rare, where you could only get them out of special cases.
Okay. What about the new mantling system that might have like pull-up jumps for little gaps?
I feel like that's just going to be messing with the system, having too much motion in it. Like, are we talking about scaling the entire outside of a skyscraper, or is it going to be like, I can do this once or twice and I can't do any more on the side of this building?
I think it's gonna be the way that they described it. I would assume that it's unlimited. The limitation being that, like, if you do the pull up to the next thing, it's not gonna be like Apex where you pull up and you can like kick off the wall 40 feet. It's gonna be smaller, but roughly the same. Because in Apex you can hold on and like peek. They have that now, but you can also do like a little pull up and a hop. Like if it was like a multi-tiered ledge, you could pull up to the next one.
Yeah, so I'd be okay if you could do that once, like getting on top of small single-story houses and stuff like that. But if we're literally going up massive buildings, I have a feeling we're gonna have a lot of rooftop campers, and we already know how that turned out with Verdansk.
We do parkour montages again.
Yeah, that God. Okay, next.
Or okay. Similar to that.
Okay.
They are also considering when you do your pull-up, you can have a pistol just like on the ladder, right? Now you can't jump when you have to put it away before you jump, but you can lean up an edge and shoot over with a pistol. Now, before you say this might be okay, the developer said they programmed the little landing pads of the helicopter to be a ledge, so you can parachute or jump, grapple onto the edge of the helicopter while they fly away, do a pull-up, draw your pistol, and shoot out the pilot.
I will only accept that as a thing if I can throw a tomahawk or throwing knife instead.
Ooh, that'd be interesting.
Because what I'm imagining in that scenario is like you run, jump, grab on the helicopter, and then you can like force yourself off, throw a tomahawk, and fall backwards. That would be make for sick clips, but I'm worried about the whole pistol peeking thing. I mean, it could die like Vanguard's blind fire. We see how much that got used. The only time you blind fire in Vanguard is if you accidentally do it.
Yeah, there was no reason to do that. That's also why people don't blind fire in real life, at least not very often, not people that value having bullets in their gun. I mean, blind fire should be a move of like absolute desperation.
But you also have to scale this up when you add in stuff. What's to stop people in the final zones to all be like screen edging with a pistol on all the buildings? So like imagine everyone's inning in Verdansk in the skyscrapers and everyone's just on the edge of all the buildings, just hanging, waiting.
Oh, it's like there's like 4 of them and they're just like scoot, scoot, peek.
Yeah,
scoot,
so like
scoot,
in the
peek.
premise, it's like, oh, this is a cool feature, and then you expand it out for multiple players. You will literally start having end games in high structure areas where people are just edging. That's the problem. There would have to be
players can abuse it.
You would have to have a time limit of how long you could be peeking and hanging, and cue that you're doing the pistol shit if you're gonna try to balance it.
Like a loud draw, like a click, click, check.
Yeah, like you've got a loud ass metal holster where you can hear it come out, that kind of thing.
That makes sense. That's a good idea. Okay, so let's move into some things that we can absolutely shit on. You've got to be ready for that.
I'm good at that.
Oh, good. All right, so I would like to talk about the new gunsmith, which I'm sure you've seen Ace's video and mine and a few other people. I want your opinion about gunsmith, which while you collect your soul, I will do a factual overview for the stream here. Gunsmith has 10 attachments per weapon currently. There may be more or less at final launch. The attachment list is not final, but I was told it will be at least as much as in Modern Warfare 19. So I'm imagining something a little bit more like Vanguard with tons of attachments. But we're not done, ladies and gentlemen. Each and every one of these 10 attachments has not one, but 2 different slidey bars to adjust the strength of the effect. So for example, we'll pick an easy one. Like one of them is like faster ADS, higher recoil. and you can move it all the way to super fast ADS, and you'll have high recoil or better recoil and slow ADS. So you've got a horizontal bar, and then on that same gun, there'll be another one for like, I don't know, damage and fire rate. Probably not those, but the thing is that of your 10 attachments, they now have 4 subcategories of adjustable poles with thousands of variations in between, because you can just move it, take like a bunch of little slots over. So how do you feel about that level of customization?
I think the developer, whoever thought about that, needs to give me back my stupid stick, because they clearly didn't read the directions to not whack yourself in the face. That is the dumbest thing. Like, if this is pure for the DMZ mode, okay. But if we're talking about multiplayer, this is purely for grinding. You realize that, right? It's not in the idea of pure customization. Oh, yeah. If this is going to be a 2-year game, this is all about grind and player retention. And we see how that turned out in Vanguard with having 70 levels per gun. They have a shit ton of attachments. I guarantee people have only used maybe once, if that. Yeah.
Most of them do really bad things to the guns. Like, there's a bunch of them I avoid.
Like, I know there's content creators like Dismo and Merc Music who like to build stupid builds just for the sake of it, but that's not the normal everyday person. The normal everyday person has 30 minutes to play their match, and they want to use whatever is best to them. So, like, from what you're telling me, this is going to make each gun to grind. Okay, hypothetically, are all of these attachments like you grind the attachment once and it's available on all guns, or do you have to do it for every single gun?
They weren't clear on that.
Because that's another problem I'm foreseeing. Like, if they have, like, say, a foregrip, right? And I'm using an AK and I take the foregrip to max, where I can use all the sliders now, right? Mm-hmm. If that foregrip now is game-wide leveled up and I don't have to do it again, okay, I'm fine with that, because I will use the attachments as I'm leveling up different guns.
Kinda don't think that's how it's going to work, and you're also unlocking guns in skill trees. So all of your gun unlocks are a skill tree. You know, COD now, let's say there's 100 levels, right? Yep. And it's like every other level you'll get a new gun. This now, if you can only start off with the M4, and once you've reached a certain M4 level, it unlocks the Odin and the M13. And then if you go down that path and do the Odin, it'll unlock another experimental weapon. But if you did the M13, it would maybe unlock the Ram 7, and there are these decision trees. And if you want to do SMGs, you have to go back to the MP5 and start leveling up that tree all the way through and get the attachments on each one.
So we as players have been asking for leveling and grinding in a fun way, not in a we're going to quit your game because this sucks way. Like, this is just too much. What happened to just pick your gun, pick your attachments, and go? Like, Black Ops 3 is probably the one that did the grinding the best, right? Hero armor, level 1000, dark matter. Did zombies have its own dark matter too?
Yeah, it did. It had its own stuff.
And then it had level 1000, but all of them were fun, right? I did it all, and I reset my account and I started working on it again.
It was the only game that I ever hit max level in. So as you know, I'm not a grinder. Yeah. I actually did grind out Black Ops 3 to get the hero armor, because that was cool and rare enough. And you couldn't buy hero armor. It was just the gold armor. It was great. So I worked hard for it. And you had to earn it by doing all the different things with all the different abilities. And it was fun.
So, but what from you're telling me, if this is the way the gun leveling system is going to work, Vanguard, when we first started, a gun was 8 hours. The PPSH, you remember that because I have it on the sheet, was 7 to 8 hours. That's just taking it from 0 to 70, right? That's not even attachments. Are you about to tell me that we're looking at 20 to 30 hours per gun, maybe?
No. I think that your gun level is the same, like level 1 to 70 for the guns.
I'm saying hours on a gun and attachments. Because
that's what I mean.
Remember, one of their additions for pre-ordering this game, they're giving you 10 hours of double XP on normal and gun double XP. So you're not telling me that they're not planning on super grinding?
Well, they're planning on super grinding. That's correct. I just don't know the specifics of what it's going to be like. I can guarantee you it's going to be grindy. And I guess you'll be having fun with that, probably. I don't know if I'll grind all that much.
Yeah, it depends. Are you going to need it grinded? Everyone knows now.
I think you know the answer to that is if I'm well enough, honestly. I'm trying to get better here. If I can do this more consistently, then yeah. So but for now, the focus is elsewhere, as you know, the additional business.
Every year, COD has something that's kind of like a make or break aspect. This one might be that for Modern Warfare 22, the whole gun leveling expansion tree stuff. Like now I'm trying to think about the prestige camo or the dark matter equivalent. How are we going to do that? Do we have to max out literally everything now?
I have no idea. It's gonna be grindy. You know it's gonna be grindy, and they've made the grinding brutal instead of fun. But weirdly, gamers are responding to that. Like, I call it the Destiny effect. People just
I've only heard
love to do
people
that.
hating on it on the grind.
No, but the player retention numbers are going to be higher. Otherwise, it wouldn't be there.
Maybe, but I mean, in the end, once you have a couple guinea pigs who figure out what the top guns are and the top attachments, that grind outside of like for the max camo is gonna die immediately.
Yeah.
Unless they
It's no fun.
Unless we're start purposely seeing them modifying the guns like 3 at a time. Like, oh hey, the M4, AK, and MP7 are the best guns in the game with these attachments. 2 weeks later, they're now shit. Next 3 guns, and like they purposely are pushing everybody to grind everything.
That does bring back a vague memory. I think you're gonna see a lot of slightly different variations of the same guns because they're called platform trees. You know, AR platform, SMG platform,
Yeah.
pistol platform, and they showed a little bit of the AR platform tree, and there was a lot of things that I would call AR-15 variants on there. You start with your old M4, and then it's all of the different M guns, kind of all in one tree, but not just like, oh, Mark 14 and Mark 16. It's like just a bunch of just random shit that as a not gun nut, I don't really know about.
This sounds familiar. What was the game's name? Operation 7. It was a game way back in the day. It was a free-to-play where you started with a gun base, but the attachments you put on it renamed it and remodified what it was. This game came out like 2007, I think. It was a free-to-play thing. But the way they did it is you just like leveled up the gun and you unlocked the attachments and you just picked whatever you wanted and put it on. Like as you played throughout the day, you generated like a currency and you used that currency to buy those attachments to put on the base gun that day.
I think I saw this.
Maybe, but like that is a way of doing this system that I'm okay with because A, it keeps you playing, and B, it's not painfully grindy because then you can just, once you figure out what you want, you just rebuild it every day. But you played it in 09? Yeah, because I hopped off Combat Arms to play it. But if we're going down the route that you're mentioning, that's gonna anger me. I don't know about you, but
Oh, I'm not gonna like it. All right, let's move into our final topic today of things that make us angry. I think this is gonna be right up your alley. BS
boy.
field upgrades. We've got the drill charge, we've got the decoy dummy, we've got the EMP device, and we'll go ahead and put the rappelling and grappling stuff in here too, because there's a lot going on. They put a lot of focus on these tactical modes.
tell me you wish you were an Apex dev without telling me you wish you were an Apex dev, right? The decoy,
feels that way.
barrage, the deploys, Pathfinder, the drill thing is a character in the game too. It shoots out a heat beam on the other side of the wall. Like, it doesn't belong in Warzone. It doesn't. Are you trying to stand out, or are you just trying to copy again? I don't know what you think. What do you think about it?
I just think all of these things are going to be annoying. I think that like there's like, okay, if you want to watch like professional players come in there and play, they might do some fun things. You want to give this to little Timmy and Tommy that are hyped up on G Fuel and just finished Fortnite. They're like, hey, let's all sit in the bathroom and we're going to put down 4 of these grenade dummies. And when they walk in, they're all going to pop and we're going to shoot our shotguns. And okay, we can do that like once a month for fun.
Yeah.
They'll do that every day. Do you remember Call of Duty Ghosts with IEDs? How you could just put them literally anywhere.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be kind of similar, except it's going to be more like anywhere on the ground. So I'm afraid, since it's supposed to blow up when people are close to it, instead of putting it in so the dummy, right, pops up and inflates and it'll auto orient toward you. So it looks like a real person. But if you get close to it, like if you walk up to it, it'll detonate. So I think what people are going to do is just start putting these things close to doors. So you'll kick open a door and this guy will go poof right in your face and then blow up.
I think I know how this got generated in a developer's mind. You know those clips we kept seeing on TikTok or YouTube where people spray paint the walls and a guy runs in and just starts blankly firing because he thinks it's a person because he's so hyped up? Mixing that with a claymore. I think that's exactly what happened.
That is exactly what happened.
Oh god.
But the sprays are funny because that's Looney Tunes
Literally,
shit.
yeah.
If you pull it off, and it's challenging to pull off too. These things are just, imagine, look at the shotgun thing, okay? Imagine the 4 of us literally hiding in a bathroom with 4 of these things, and somebody opens the doors. We're gonna be up all like in the ceiling, spider crawling and shit.
Yeah.
And all these things are gonna go poof on the ground. they're going to shoot them like crazy and explode, and then we drop down with our shotguns.
Or here's another situation. We line them up on the edge of the building. We're edge peeking with a pistol. The people come by, they trigger, they shoot upwards, and then we shoot through them to kill them.
That can work too.
Yeah, but that's not a good thing.
Okay, what about the drill charge?
Isn't that just like you shoot it at a wall and it burns on the other side?
No, it drills a hole, it goes
Okay.
and then shits out a little grenade on the other side and blows up.
Okay. No, thank you. What's the point of taking cover if someone can just like tactically bend you with a grenade?
So they weren't clear on if it's on what surfaces it works. They did say that it worked for vehicles, and it seemed like they designed it for vehicles because they said the grenade is anti-personnel and not anti-vehicle or equipment. So if you throw it on a truck, it'll drill in and kill all or most of the people in the truck, but still leave the vehicle usable as long as it had like any health to begin with.
Okay. If it was purely just for vehicles, I'd be okay with it. But if it's allowed to be used against people, no, thank you.
How do you feel about being able to shoot tires out of the trucks now and they can't drive?
Oh God. Fortnite had that with the tracks and cars, and it gets very frustrating very quickly, doesn't it?
Yes, because as you may know, shooting guns from a moving car at a moving car in real life with 80-mile-an-hour wind is hard. It's really hard. I've never shot at a car. I've shot at other stationary objects while somebody drove me around. Very challenging. But in a video game, it's hit scan. As long as it goes over, it's going to hit. So that's what happens in Fortnite is you get one of these vehicles and you take like 20 shots and then 3 of your 4 tires are popped. So I'm hoping that the tires have a considerable amount of health.
Yeah, because I'm like, or just like, how do we go about doing this? Are we allowed for the tires to be popped if you're in the gas trying to get safe? And like people are gas camping. Like there needs to be some other situational aspects about it, because like if you're just driving around being an asshole trying to run people over in the safe zone, pop them tires quickly. I don't have a problem with that. But if people are using them just to try and get safe from the zone, I feel like they should just have more health in the zone, maybe, if the entire purpose is to get safe.
Well, you just do simple vehicle deterioration. Like other BRs have done it to where you're in the zone, your vehicle will start like stalling and failing.
Yeah.
And it still gets you there faster than walking, but it's like you can only use the car in the zone for like 10 seconds. Like you're not going to do this crap where you stem up and drive all the way across the map.
Or what if a good hybrid to that would be the vehicle's it degrades, the wheels don't and the movement doesn't, but the vehicle itself degrades, so that there is no protection. Like if someone fires a bullet at that car, it's immediately through full damage, like anything.
They're
like
kind
that.
of already on that. They've designed all the vehicles to fall apart, so you can rip off the top, the doors, the windows, all this stuff. And they showed an example of a normal truck and one that was kind of damaged, and it would just be like super easy to shoot in. Everybody inside's a sit and duck. It's like driving around a Jeep with no cover. So they do have that, and they also have vehicle hijacking, Halo style.
Okay.
You can jump onto a moving vehicle and stand on it. You can grapple onto it, or if it's going slow enough and the right angle or whatever, you can, like GTA style, yank the driver out.
So to be clear, the grapple that's coming back, because you mentioned it as a field upgrade, I think, is it like the blackout grapple, or is it like a...
I did not mention a grapple, sir.
You just said grapple.
You can grapple a vehicle with your hands, like you grapple and hold a person.
God damn it, I just got my...
So you have to run off of your 18-wheeler and jump and physically grab onto the other one. They showed this in action in the campaign. They said it would work in Warzone, and I don't know how well it's going to work, but I want to pitch you an idea of do you remember what my favorite game mode was in Warzone?
No.
Remember the big truck mode?
Oh God, yeah.
But what made that actually fun for me was late game. The circles would be like way on the other end of the map, and there'd be like 10 trucks racing against the zone on this one little road, like ramming each other, trying to get to that safe spot.
Wow.
The beginning parts were hella boring, hated it, but that was really fun. Now imagine that with much more destructible vehicles and shit, like I could be driving and pull up and you can jump off of one and grab onto the other car and start popping people.
You want death race in Call of Duty.
Oh yeah,
That's
I mean,
what
as
you're advocating
as an
for.
option, not an everyday thing, but as an option.
But that would also open up for potential future game modes of Death Race, where literally every squad just starts in a vehicle and your goal is to be the last one left. But they're like channeled, where you have to. That would be cool.
Yeah.
I would like that. But no, you got my hopes up because I had so much fun with the grapple and Blackout. So when you said the word grapple, I was like, oh shit. You know?
No, I have not seen that. I wish, as you know from Apex, I'm a sort of grapple addict. So
Yes, but when you said the parachuting or dropping in, is it Modern Warfare's drop in or is it Blackout's glide in?
the only discussion they had about parachuting is the ledge mantle thing. They said that one of the reasons they added it is you ever like come and parachute in and you hit just wrong and your face bonks and then you slide down. That is going to be a lot more generous now to where you can parachute and like if you miss you can hold on to things and like pull yourself back up.
Okay. Because I mean, I kind of prefer the Blackout's glide, especially if you jumped off a skyscraper and stuff like that.
Dude, that was actually not realistic, but superior because you could go from high to low and deploy just fine.
Yeah. So like, I feel like they need to be looking into the fun aspects of Blackout so they can hybridize the two, man.
Do you remember in Blackout, we'd get in helicopters, right?
Yeah.
And we'd drive around and we'd see a squad and we're like, let's get them, boys. And we would all jump out of the helicopter and abandon it and fly down like bats. And right before it hit the ground, the character would do this little roll. And in maybe a second, maybe half a second, you would go from flying to hit the ground, pow, guns up. And you're just like on top of these people fighting them.
And it was always fun when we did it to one dude who was by himself.
Oh, yeah.
And we were just like, hello there.
It'd be like one poor guy in the zombies graveyard trying to farm up to get some guns or something. We just roll in.
And then we're on every corner, and the moment he ends, it's just. See, that's that's the fun aspects of a BR that I kind of miss, is like just the stupid fun shenanigans. Like I really hope Warzone 2 isn't super like realistic, focused, like. You know what I mean?
I hope it's not like Rebirth. Rebirth is a little bit too cracked for me. It's not doesn't have the opportunity to be fun as much.
Do you want to talk about the Rebirth map that just literally came out today?
No, because I didn't see anything about it.
It's on Charlie Intel.
I didn't even bother. I don't play Rebirth.
Supposedly there's a new map possibly coming. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I would like to see Warzone 2 have more shenanigan stuff versus we have to sweat our tits off for the win. Less PUBG, more Blackout. You know what I mean?
I like sweating my tits off. I just don't want to do that every game. That's all.
Okay. Yep, I agree. To both. So, I don't know, chat. You can leave your verdicts down in the comment section below because I'm going to try to have this up afterwards because I'd like to see what y'all think. What, anything else you would like to talk about?
Not regarding Modern Warfare 2, no. I think I'm good.
I still want to call it Modern Warfare 22 because in the case it does flop, I don't want to besmirch Modern Warfare 2.
Well, to be fair, it is Modern Warfare 2. 2.
2.2, 2v2? I don't know.
Modern Warfare 2 v2? I don't know.
Alrighty, but that's going to wrap it up here, folks. Like I said, let us know what you think down in the comment section below, and we'll try to do this again, hopefully when more news drops, you know?
Yep. See you guys later.
Bye!